Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Seniors are served a wonderful meal at the annual Ward 6 Thanksgiving Luncheon, and a very special exhibit at City Hall features Ice Age fossils. Talk about all this and a whole lot more is the councilwoman who represents Ward 6. You know who it is, Michele Fiore. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh my, so great. It's full of family, full of friends, full of love. Just full of love, full of gratitude. Gratitude. You know, we went around the table and we just talked about what we were thankful for. And a lot of it is family and friends and the ability to help people.
Exactly. That's a nice tradition too, by the way. Well, Councilwoman, you know Ward 6 very well. It's your stomping ground, but we should tell everybody out there the lines of Ward 6 and all the other wards within the city are changing because we just went through the redistricting process, or we're going through the redistricting process.
Well, every 10 years we go through the census and we see how much we've grown, and in each and every ward. And because my ward has grown the most, we actually kind of suppressed my ward on this change because within 3 or 4 years, we're going to surpass all the wards again. Like right now, before we vote and acknowledge the ward change, I've surpassed every ward. So I'm the largest ward right now. So we'll go and we'll bring it down a little so then to give us growth room.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is for each of the wards to have about the same number of people. But the issue, as Councilwoman pointed out, Ward 6 just always grows so much faster than the other wards, so it's going to be a little bit smaller at the beginning of this process, but then understanding that it's where all the land is, so
we have all the dirt. We have all the dirt. We've hoarded all the dirt out there.
Exactly. So again, the process is going on, and we can show you where the lines are now and where they're going to be. You'll get an idea here on the map, but again, this is going to take place across the city in all the wards. They're going to change a little bit. So that's Ward 6 currently, and that's what it's going to look like once the council, assuming they approve the change coming up here over the next couple of city council meetings. So everything tends to move a little west and north because that's kind of where the population growth is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's where we have space, where we have land, where we can auction our Bureau of Land Management land.
Right.
And actually, it's the great opportunity for the state of Nevada to get their land back. Because remember, once we became a state, we gave all of our land to the federal government to become a state. So there were a lot of things, 150 something years ago when we first started out, we gave up to just be Nevada.
And that gives us the opportunity to expand into those areas as well and allow the city to grow. So we were talking about Thanksgiving. It's a great place to start. We just celebrated it here, but I love this. You had your annual Ward 6 senior luncheon out at the Centennial Hills Active Adult Center. And this is a wonderful tradition out there because this is a big deal for the seniors. And you're going to see that's a lot of folks that come out for this luncheon each year.
So, my heart, so the 3 individuals that I think we need to serve, help, and protect, besides everyone, really are our seniors, our babies, and our animals. And our seniors, it means so much to me to be able to feed them for Thanksgiving and make sure that they're happy and they have someone to celebrate with. So we do that every year, and our staff cooks for them, and it's so delicious.
It's the full deal.
I mean, it's the full Monty there. It's really cool.
Well, this time of year, of course, there are a lot of things that we're observing and celebrating, and we'll talk about a few of those. October 30th, Nevada Day was celebrated, and you took part in the parade up in Carson City for the first time, right?
Yes. So the parade in Carson City, a lot of folks don't realize the Nevada Day Parade in Carson City because that's where our governor's mansion is, our legislature, our Supreme Court, is huge. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people, 3 miles of walking.
Wow.
It's the whole strip of Carson City. Amazing. The floats, the people coming out. I mean, we gave away buckets and buckets and buckets of candy. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I didn't realize the parade was quite that large.
Yep.
I think you were saying that there was 25,000 people.
Wow. I think it's the largest parade in Nevada.
Wow.
I really,
I've never been up there for that, and I guess one of these years I got to get up there and see it.
Gotta go.
I've been here in Nevada many years, and I've never been to that parade.
You got to be on a float. You got to be on a float.
Maybe I'll just go check it out.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
And then you also took part in another parade over at Iron Mountain, right?
Yes, that's our ward, Ward 6. And the floats that they made. David, amazing. And so here's the thing that I learned. We definitely have to get those floats from Iron Mountain and have them in our Halloween celebration, because we do a huge Halloween celebration with the YMCA, where we have a haunted house. We have all these vendors out there giving candy away for trunk or treat. We have a DJ, a live DJ, and so many games for the kids. And again, Christy Garnes is
she's one of our events planners
person.
here at the city. Yeah. This is great. So I see they've kind of blended Nevada Day and Halloween all a little bit together here, because obviously the official Nevada Day is October 31st, Halloween itself. But of course, we celebrate on the Friday closest too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because we need to give the kids a day off from school. Let's not forget that.
Which they very much appreciate.
Yeah, they really do. They really and truly do.
Well, keeping up with the theme of the holidays, and we're talking about Halloween right there, you posted this on Facebook. You said, tonight's the night for our fabulous Ward 6 Spooktacular Trunk or Treat. And this is a nice tradition out in Ward 6 as well.
It is. So what we do is we give so much away, again. And our sponsors that give us so much candy, it's amazing. Again, we have music and dancing and games, and I just want the people to feel special and feel safe. So everything about Ward 6 with the holidays is to get folks gathered in a safe place, to where all the candy is safe, and their trick-or-treating is a safe experience.
And I think parents really appreciate that, Councilwoman, because they know it's going to be an environment where everything's going to be safe, as opposed to going into a neighborhood maybe you don't know. Are they going to be handing out candy with the pandemic? It's kind of hit and miss these days, but you
There's
come
our
here.
volunteers,
Now last year it was virtual, right? Or you drove through, basically.
So we had to drive through.
Yeah, but this year it's more of the traditional way.
So. And I've worked really hard through the pandemic to make sure we never missed a holiday. So whatever we had to do, we did.
So we're just going to do it a little differently, but we're doing it.
It's so funny, because when it first started, it was Easter, and the sheriff and I went back and forth, and he's like, rah, 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 and I'm like, oh, heck no. We're doing it safe. He actually sent one of his officers out to make sure I was doing it safe.
I recall.
And but I'm not that girl that likes the word no. So we did it, and we did it right. We did it safe.
Right.
But
people drove through, and exactly, it was a drive-through.
I was not going to take no for an answer, period, no matter what anyone said.
Well, and this year, obviously it wasn't drive-through, but obviously we saw everybody was masked up.
Again, it's safe. We obey the rules, right? We obey the rules, even though I don't want to, but It's
a good event, and I'm glad, like you say, we got to have it despite everything going on in the world these days. And then you also posted this on Facebook, because there's so much to observe here. We know that you love the Tule Springs as much as we do. That's why you should come down to City of Las Vegas City Hall and check out the Tule Springs Fossil Beds National Monument Tusk display. Now, this was pretty cool.
Yes. People don't realize the treasure that Nevada is. We have fossils that are thousands and thousands of years old right in their backyard. Right in their backyard. So these are some of the fossils that we put on display for all of our folks to be able to come to City Hall and see it. And I'm fortunate. I sit on the advisory board for the Tule Springs, and it's just really an honor.
Well, and it's a big deal. It's a national monument out there. Folks may not realize, but the fossils are all over the place out there, and some of them are just literally sitting on the ground.
And you don't even know, because they're the same color as the clay.
Exactly.
Isn't that weird?
Exactly, but then
how they've blended in.
Yeah, paleontologists will say, this was that what we saw there. That was the tooth of a mammoth. And this is a tusk, etc. And it's incredible that those things are just out there,
just sitting there. Just sitting there.
So the idea with the whole national monument is to preserve the area, to protect it, but also to create more of an interpretive experience when you go out there, just like we saw in the display here at City Hall, that you know what you're looking at. It's
without a doubt.
This is a tusk, this is from this animal, this is from that animal. It's hard to believe that where Las Vegas is now, or the Tule Springs, the northwest area of our city, these creatures roamed around. This was their stomping
It
ground.
was, and you know, it's so funny because we have so many kid tours that go through like Tule Springs and see it. Kids, right? Like kindergarten to 5th grade. Really, it should be the high school students too, because, you know, at that age, you know, especially what if they're going to be studying this in college?
Right.
It's so much, it's really, like I said, Nevada is a treasure.
Yeah, it really
for all
is.
the things we have.
We are very fortunate, and to have that, we've got Red Rock here.
Yeah.
We've got all of those.
It's God's land.
Yeah, exactly.
It's God's
I know,
land here.
I know. And now we have this national monument too.
Yep.
So it's spectacular. And then, Councilwoman, I love this too. We're honoring so many folks. You didn't forget our first responders at our city council meeting on December 1st. You made sure that it was your turn to recognize a community group, and you just chose our first responders, which I think was fitting. Because during the holidays, they work, you know, regardless of what day of the year it is, and they get out there and they're doing their job no matter what the holidays.
So folks don't realize our police, our marshals, our first responders, our ambulance, our EMT, our firefighters, and so many others, when we're having Thanksgiving traditionally, they either had Thanksgiving the day before or the day after or whenever they were off. Or if, you know, they're in fire and they're having Thanksgiving at their station, right? And then, or they have to stop eating because there's a call.
Exactly.
And then our EMT, our emergency folks that are helping people. And, you know, around the holidays, it's so important that you really reach out to your friends and neighbors, because the holidays are when a lot of tragedy hits. And our EMTs and police and fire are really, the calls are numerous. A lot of depression around the holidays. So make sure that you stay in the holiday spirit and help people be happy.
A lot of traveling, families coming together, a lot of celebrating, sometimes imbibing, and then getting in behind the wheel. And it can be
it can be a mess.
Yeah, it can be
a mess. It can be a mess, or it could be fabulous. But you get to choose. It's up to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So good for you. I think it was fitting that you honored those first responders. It was primarily city folks, the marshals, the court marshals, also our firefighters, as you mentioned, our paramedics, because again, they work every day of the year, regardless of what holiday is. So good for you. And then you also observed, and I know this is near and dear to you, October is Italian-American Heritage.
It is.
Heritage Month, Italian-American Heritage Month, sorry about that. And of course, you are an Italian-American, as am I.
Yeah. So it's fun because my father was born and raised in Italy, in a little tiny town called Neucatero, and it's in Bari. That's my brother in New York. He has a restaurant out there, and my cousin Jackie. That's a church that he helped build
in Italy.
In Neucatero, And he literally almost became a priest, right? However, he came to New York and met my mom, and then decided he wanted to do other things than study. And then here I am. So so it's a blessing. It's an amazing place.
You were there recently, a year or so ago, before the pandemic. But,
and my Aunt Dina, my father's brother, really made sure that the family's home stayed intact, and you know, so it's really quite lovely. The history is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and again, Councilwoman, what region is it in?
It's in Bari.
In Bari,
It's in Bari, So it's a little town. It's a little town called Neucatero in Bari, Italy, and it's just amazing. I tell everyone to visit. I spent 7 days in Roma with my dad's best friend, who is a Vatican priest, Father Angelo.
And he showed you around. He kind of took you under his wing and showed you. You had like your own tour guide.
I had my own tour. And let me tell you something. This guy was in his early 80s. Could outwalk me. I mean, we walked. We were in tunnels. We were in chapels that were not open to the people. I had lunch with the cardinals. I mean, it was really a treat. It was really a treat. So I'm very grateful for my heritage.
Yeah, and my mother's family is from Sicily.
Nice.
And so.
So you're a mobster.
Yeah.
Well, David, I know I wasn't supposed to say that, but you know.
But. Yeah, my mother's, both her parents were from Sicily.
Nice.
And so My last name certainly doesn't sound Italian, but
but you got the blood.
exactly.
You got the
exactly
blood.
Right. So good for you for honoring Italian American Heritage Month. And then on a serious note as well, October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and you took part in helping spread the word on that out at the Northwest Area Command. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So domestic violence really works both ways. You know, a lot of times people think it's women, which the stats, you know, it's more women than men, but men get abused too. And sometimes, you know, they're just afraid to say. But men get mentally abused, physically abused just as much as women. And they really need to step up and step out of a bad situation. And it's harder than it's easy to say that, but it's much harder to actually do it.
Yeah, that's, I think everyone who's in a situation like that, that's the hard thing. It's like stepping out. Important, you talked about this in November is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, because it's as we head into the holidays, and that's when domestic violence seems to ramp up.
And a lot of times, so this is what I'm going to say about that. The majority of incidences, if you actually read the reports, it's over finances. Okay, so people get really stressed out during the holidays over finances, and maybe they can't buy the gifts that they want, or, you know, with this pandemic, they could be out of work. But what I really want to tell people is, you know, make something, write something on a piece of paper from your heart, because that's priceless. My kids draw things for me, my grandkids. Those gifts are priceless. And just get more creative, and don't worry about spending money that we might not have this year, or we might have to save for January. Just be really frugal and simplify the holidays this year, and do things from your heart. Do things straight from your heart.
Yeah,
Right.
good advice, and you want everybody to have a great holiday season, and not to be facing anything, especially that serious. And Councilwoman, too, November is also, you get a lot of observances here. November is also time to recognize diabetes. You posted this on Facebook. You said, "Diabetes is a personal issue for me. My Aunt Marcella passed away from diabetes when she was just 32 years old, and my father also had complications from diabetes." So a very, very serious disease if you can't get it under control.
Yeah, so that's my dad, and then that's actually my daughter, but Marcella's in the background in that picture, but I posted them together because they look so much alike. Yeah, she was very young, and diabetes is really serious. And here's, a lot of people don't realize, adults, like 50 plus, all of a sudden never had diabetes in their life, or getting diabetes. You know, and there's type 1, there's type 2, there's a few different types. And you really got to work hard if you are tested to get that under control quickly.
Oh, it's very serious.
It's very serious, and you know, sometimes it's hard to get it under control.
Right. It can lead to amputations of extremities. It can lead to blindness. It can lead to kidney failure. Litany of things, and not to mention the potential for death as well. So it's a very serious disease. I know there's a lot of research going on out there to try to cure diabetes. We're not there yet, making progress, but still got a way to go.
Yeah.
So, and then Councilwoman, you don't want to forget our veterans. That also took place in November, and Veterans Day. You posted this on Facebook. You said, "Happy Veterans Day. We love our veterans. They've done and sacrificed so much for our country that we see no reason why they shouldn't be treated like celebrities and thanked often." Amen. That's exactly right.
This is so true.
And there you are.
There I am. So Sheena, my oldest daughter, was born on a base abroad in Cuba, Guantanamo Bay. Her dad was in the Navy. And so as a dependent wife back then, when you see what they go through and the training that they do, and all the missions that they are on and the things that they see, you really thank goodness that our veterans are out there protecting our country and our folks. So I can't say enough about our veterans. They're amazing, and I love them.
Yeah, it's they've done a lot, needless to say, for the country. And many of them still bear the scars and the wounds that that we saw the Purple Heart group there. Those gentlemen wearing the purple shirts were all wounded in some kind of situation while they were in the military in combat. And
so, I have to
yeah.
give kudos to our mayor, because her and Zach Burgess worked so hard on making sure that we recognized a Purple Heart that was over 100 years old.
Yeah, it was Nono Zakari. He was the gentleman you saw there at the council meeting.
And what a little fresh Italian man. I love him. Yeah.
His real name is Onofrio, goes by Nono, 98 years old, was wounded on the D-Day invasion, and the medical staff that treated him, they got killed in the battle. So there's no record that he'd also been wounded. So it took all these years from 1944 to this past
2021
year to get his Purple Heart.
And our mayor, I'm sorry, kudos, Madam Mayor, Carolyn Goodman, she would not stop. She was relentless on making sure we got his Purple Heart.
Yeah, it was an incredible thing. He was also at the Battle of the Bulge.
Yes.
He recovered from his wound on Normandy, and then was at the Battle of the Bulge. About the time he was recovered, he then finds himself at the Battle of the Bulge, survived the war. He was from New York, upstate New York.
Those Italian boys, I'll tell you, they're tough. They're tough.
And then he moved to California, and he was a milkman, served as a milkman in the Southern California area. And he was a character all
he
the
was
way around.
such a character.
For a gentleman that old, he's sharp and funny. And
I said to him, how many kids do you have? And he says to me, I was the milkman.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He said, I have 4 kids, 2 we adopted, and but then I was the milkman. So, right. No, you're funny. And he's still doing well. I'm so glad for
he
that.
is. He's great.
And then, Councilwoman, we're heading into the holidays here. We recently celebrated the first night of Hanukkah. Hanukkah's been going on. But we also then have a tradition out in Ward 6. The Fantasy Forest is back.
Yes. So Christmas is just my favorite. I mean, growing up in New York City with all the lights and the city and the horse and carriages and Rockefeller Center. So I want to recreate that here. So we created this Fantasy Forest, and we have Santa Claus there every single weekend, so all the children and adults can come and take a picture with Santa for free, and then we give away thousands and thousands of presents to our kids, so they don't feel like Christmas, especially when we're having a little bit of a rough patch. We just want to make sure we give back to our community.
Yeah, it's really a nice tradition out there. You can see all the different trees are decorated with different themes, and Santa's out there, as Councilwoman said. You get your picture taken with Santa, and toys are given away. It's a big deal, and it takes place over several weekends, basically.
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely.
This is from years past. What you're looking at is
Happy
from
Hanukkah.
previous years.
We have everything. We celebrate everyone that has something to celebrate. We respect and celebrate with them.
It's their tradition too, So, but big deal. Again, if you haven't been out to Fantasy Forest, how many years have we been doing the Fantasy Forest?
4. This will be our 5th.
Fifth year, fifth time around.
Yeah.
So out at Floydland Park, out at Tule Springs, and again, it's December 4th through the 19th. You have to check it out, and you'll enjoy it. It's a nice holiday tradition out there.
It's amazing. And being with the city, for the past 4 years, almost 5 years, we've made it bigger and better.
Right.
Because before the city, I have my own traditions, and we still do it. I mean, I'm at St. Jude, I'm at Child Haven, I'm at just places that mean so much to my heart. And so we still do all of that, and we have our Fantasy Forest.
That's right.
Yeah.
And again, a wonderful tradition. It's free. Come on out and enjoy. So we do it out there every year. Well, Councilwoman, we're running out of time here. It's hard to believe that we're also running out of time in 2021. It's winding down.
Fast.
But I want to wish you happy holidays and just all the best for you and your family. You have a big family, wonderful family. this time of year.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing. Thank you so much, David. It's always fun to be with you, and I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful
thank you so
holiday.
much. I appreciate it. And folks, we want to tell you out there, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Fiore, you can always find her on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact her just by picking up the phone. We still do that around here, 702-229-6405, or send her an email. Her address is mfiore@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you. So, well, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I'll see you next year.
You will see me next year.
So
Yes.
we want to thank you for joining us. Our next Access City Council show begins airing on December 9th with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Also, watch for our QR code in the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around, and happy holidays.